Hill. I now recognize Congressman Comer for 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you. And Mr. Chairman, I want to spend my 5 minutes talking about CBD because I believe there's a lot of misinformation and confusion about exactly what CBD is and what THC is. So CBD is cannabidiol oil, and it is something that a lot of people take. A lot of people in Congress take CBD. Millions of Americans take CBD. I take CBD. These are two of the CBD products that I take, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. There are two sources of CBD. There's hemp and marijuana. And hemp and marijuana are two different plants in the same plant family, kind of like broccoli and cauliflower. If you can imagine what broccoli and cauliflower look like, they have some similarities, but they're also very different. That's the way it is with hemp and marijuana. And then there's THC. And THC is an acronym that measures the level of psychoactive material in CBD. So if you look at CBD, the majority of CBD that most Americans are taking, and they're having really positive effects from CBD, is coming from hemp, not marijuana. And the hemp CBD has little to no THC. And that's something that there's a lot of confusion when I hear people talk about CBD and THC. Prior to coming to Congress, I was Commissioner of Agriculture in Kentucky. And we were the first state. This was something that was a platform for mine when I was elected Commissioner of Agriculture, to make industrial hemp a reality in America. We weren't growing hemp in America. America was the only industrialized nation that didn't grow industrial hemp. So in Kentucky, we became the first state to grow hemp. Today, Kentucky is the leading hemp-producing state in the nation. There are at least 15 hemp processors in Kentucky that are making CBD oil. I have been in these two products here that I take. I've been in those companies. I've seen their labs, and those companies are, in my opinion, producing a good, legitimate product. But those companies want the industry to be regulated. Currently, there are no FDA regulations on CBD oil, and the legitimate, credible companies want regulation. I have worked with Congresswoman Pingree in Maine. We have submitted a bipartisan letter with 24 other members of Congress in both parties asking the FDA to hurry up and issue FDA regulations with respect to CBD. Let me note, Juul does not sell any CBD pods. All their pods are nicotine pods. So the sickness that happened and the deaths that came from CBD, from people juuling or using e-cigarettes with CBD, these were counterfeit pods. And the people that were producing these pods, not only were they counterfeit, they don't know what levels of THC they were putting in the pods because there's really no regulations on it. This CBD industry is like the Wild West. It's a good industry, it's a good product, but there needs to be regulations. I'm very conservative, very pro-business. Normally I'm against regulations, but sometimes we need regulations. A young man in my district was recently hospitalized from vaping CBD with excessive amounts of THC. He bought the pods from a friend. They released him from the hospital and he got sick again, was hospitalized again with a collapsed lung, and he had to be put on life support in my district. Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent that this article detailing my constituent's story be inserted into the record.
Without objection, so
ordered. I
ordered.
also want to note the Associated Press has tested 30 vapor products that were marketed containing CBD and found that 10 of the 30 contained synthetic marijuana, 22 of the 30 contained very little or no CBD. This CBD produced in my congressional district, processed in my congressional district, has no THC, zero THC. So there's a lot of misinformation and confusion about CBD that I wanted to make sure that everyone understood. The Associated Press also reported on testing that the DEA had done and found that 128 of the 350 CBD products they had tested contained synthetic marijuana. 3 of these tested products contained fentanyl. So, Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent that the 2 articles from the Associated Press be inserted into the record.
Without objection, so ordered.
And Mr. Chairman, if I may, I'll conclude by saying that I think that there are a lot of positive benefits from cannabidiol oil, but this industry needs to be regulated. This industry is very prevalent in my congressional district, and they want regulation to make sure there are no bad actors, to make sure there are no fly-by-night companies that are coming in producing cannabidiol oil with excessive amounts of THC. So that's something that I'm working on. I had Chairman Colin Peterson in my congressional district Sunday visiting with some of these hemp processors. Our office is working with USDA and FDA to try to see that we have good regulations that protect the consumers while helping the industry grow. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.